Hey everyone, this is acyuta-bhava from Nightlight Astrology, and today we are going to take a look at Venus's conjunction with Uranus. This is a conjunction that's coming up as Mercury is also moving into a trine with Pluto, also in the sign of Taurus. So we'll sort of be doubling up on the two. I'm more explicitly focused on the Venus-Uranus conjunction because I think that's probably more important, but I'll say a few words about the fact that Mercury in Taurus is also trining Pluto and Capricorn at the same time. We're going to take this through all 12 signs today. So we're going to look at the whole sign house of Taurus for all 12 sun rising sign horoscopes and give you a sense of what to expect. This transit is coming in over the weekend. So it's already in the sky, sort of, it's on the burner and it's cooking. So it's important to sort of prepare for this since I think it's probably one of the bigger transits of the month. And we started off at the beginning of the week taking a look at this. So go back to Monday's video and you can get just a feel for what this transit is all about on an archetypal level, especially given the pairing of Mercury's trine to Pluto simultaneously. So if you kind of want more on that, go back to Monday's video on that planetary transit. Well, before we dive in, don't forget to like and subscribe, share your comments in the comments section. It helps the channel to grow. As you guys know, you can always find a transcript of the talk if you're like, I'd like to read that or sit down with it. Some people really, after they hear this, they want to go through it very carefully and read it. For whatever reason, if you need a transcript copy, you can always find it on the website, nightlightastrology.com, where you can also learn more about my upcoming class, Ancient Astrology for the Modern Mystic, which starts on June 12th. That is just a few days away now. It literally starts this Sunday. So there's still time to sign up. You go to the course page, click on the first year course right here, scroll down, and you can learn all about what the course includes. You can hear from some recent alumni. Of course, yesterday I did an interview with Dana, the self-help witch, who is a recent graduate from my program and launching her career, and it's doing really well. So there's lots of people. I try to bring people out, whether it's through the Becoming a Professional Astrologer series, occasionally interviewing alumni. So you can check this video out if you want to hear more from some recent graduates. There's 30 classes on the year. They are all held from noon to between 2 and 3 p.m. Eastern time on Sundays. There's an additional 12 guest lectures outside of that, an additional 8 tutoring sessions that we have in between. So these breakout study sessions allow for us to recap what we've studied and then go into Q&A at a much deeper level. There's tutoring staff there to support you throughout the whole year. I'm there to support you as well with any questions. You get to keep everything. You can download it or you can attend live. So lots of flexibility in the program. If you have any questions about it, there's an FAQ section. You can watch that video with the alumni. You can email us, info@nightlightastrology.com. At the bottom of the page, you'll see the early bird payment. This is only good until Saturday. So you have just a couple of days left to use the early bird payment and save $500 off the total cost of the program. If you need a payment plan, you can also use the normal tuition stretched out over 12 months. Alternatively, there's also need-based tuition. So right up to the end here, we do still have a few spots left for need-based tuition. So if you would not be able to take the program unless you have some flexibility because you're on a fixed income. This is for, the single parents out there or people who might be on disability or retired on a fixed income, or your budget is fixed, then you can only, you have to sort of be very careful. We get that. We don't want astrology to be inaccessible astrology training. So we're happy to work with people. If you tell us your situation, click on the Apply Now button right there, and we'll be glad to try to help you out. So that is what I've got. We're going to now go into Venus conjunct Uranus. I'll be saying more about the Venus-Uranus conjunction on an archetypal level to close the week. We will be looking at that once more. So today I'm just doing kind of a quick hit through all 12 signs. The reason to do this is because getting a feel for where this transit is landing by whole sign house in your birth chart. And to do that, I would recommend listening to your rising sign horoscope as I go through. You can do it for your sun sign as well, but the rising sign has the benefit of correlating with the actual whole sign house version of your birth chart, which means the transit is where it is actually, it's happening in that horoscope. I will be talking about the place it's landing as it lands in your actual birth chart. Sun sign horoscopes, the only way that it would be an accurate representation of your actual chart is if you happen to have the sun in the first house, which not very many people do. So at any rate, the other reason that we want to do this is because by getting a feel for what area of life, broadly speaking, the transit is going to appear, you can start paying attention and noticing it. A lot of the times it's there already, you just aren't aware of it. And by going through those 12 whole sign houses and just giving you some quick sort of rapid fire takes, you get a feel for where to look, where to pay attention. And then again, what we'll do on Friday is we'll be unpacking Venus and Uranus as a combination at a deeper level. So that kind of pairing usually is the best approach, in my opinion, for dealing with the planetary transits as they come. All right. Well, Venus is going to be conjoining Uranus and Taurus on June 11th. So over the weekend, especially, you'll feel it probably the most intensely Friday through Sunday. So we're doing this a day in advance to kind of get you prepped so it doesn't totally blindside you. But you could have been feeling it really all this week. And arguably maybe till next Monday, you'll kind of feel it hanging around. I think that's a fair window, about Monday, Tuesday at the latest. So Venus conjoining Uranus in Taurus. What I'm going to do now is pull up the real-time clock, and we are going to go through sign by sign, and I'm just going to give you some quick hits. One of the things I want to mention about this is that with Venus conjoining Uranus in Taurus, I'm going to remove everything else from the chart right now. Whoops, so that you can see this. So what I'm so that you can see only the things that I want you to really focus on. So we're going to remove the moon and the sun. We're going to keep Mercury and Venus. We're going to remove Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn. We're going to remove Uranus. Oops, no, we're not removing Uranus. We're removing Neptune. We're keeping Pluto. So when I do this, it just really simplifies what we are actually looking at. And actually, I'll keep the north node of the moon in here. So this is going to simplify the view so that you get a sense of where that energy is landing in a more focused way. It helps you, as an astrologer, I tell my students this all of the time, that if your software program allows you to change the view, to compartmentalize things a little bit, it's a great way of sort of really refining what you're looking at, especially when you're starting to delineate. Now, a Venus-Uranus conjunction, broadly speaking, is going to hit on the topics of creative, romantic, sexual liberation, breakthroughs, creative moments of emancipation. It's like a moment where you become, you're uncorked creatively or sexually or aesthetically or even, just in terms of what you're attracted to. So that's the way I'm going to be talking about this through all of the 12 whole sign houses, just to keep it very basic, because as you know, we can turn the jewel of Venus Uranus in about 100 ways. So horoscopes are also, they have to be sort of simple in order to just give you a sense of where to look and what to look for broadly. Then we refine and we expand upon what archetypes can say or do in combinations, in let's say my 10 top things to watch for type of videos. So anyway, all that being said, let's jump in and we'll start with Aries. With this transit, we are now looking at Venus-Uranus conjoining in the sign of Taurus in the second house. Now, remember, Mercury's making an important trine to Pluto from also within the second house of Taurus. Like I said, I'm not going to really focus on the trine between Mercury and Pluto, but what I am going to say is there's a very strong emphasis on that whole sign house of Taurus due to both of these faster moving planets making aspects from the sign of Taurus. So Taurus is really sort of where the action is at. And that's why I'm focusing there and just kind of keeping it simple. So a change in values and desires that may have some, as a byproduct, may also have an impact on things like money or your resources, material resources come to mind in particular. But we're talking about a sudden, exciting reorientation around values, desires, and then maybe money and resources, broadly speaking. So watch for what is going on there. Sometimes it's a purchase or it's an expense or something like that, or it's a change in what you want or desire or value, broadly speaking. All right, we're going to put Taurus on the ascendant. And now we're going to talk about that same stellium in the first house with Venus Uranus conjoining in the first. And we're going to talk about it in terms for Taurus, if you're Taurus rising, a change in appearance or personality. So the first house is associated with your constitution, psychological and physical. When you see Venus Uranus conjoining there, you're often seeing a moment of redecorating oneself psychologically or physically, where you're talking about a moment of greater personal awakening, probably with some coloration from Venus around beauty, desire, around relationships, romance, physical form and its beauty or appearance. So watch for that kind of emancipatory breakthrough creative energy when it comes to your very sense of self or your physical appearance or something like that, your health as well. Let's put Gemini in the first house. This then takes the same stellium with the Venus-Uranus conjunction into the 12th house. I would watch for an exploration of repressed desires or shadows within relationships. What am I holding back from that I want, that I desire, for some reason I'm afraid of or have judged? Or where are my desires out of control somehow and sabotaging me? I feel like the potential for a breakthrough around sex, love, romance, creativity, and desire is there for Geminis, especially because this is a place where, it was traditionally understood as a kind of blind spot. So becoming aware of something that's in our blind spot that has to do with love, beauty, relationships, etc., looks like that's what's coming for my Gemini risings. And it could be, something that's like freeing you up. It could be something you're becoming aware of that you're sabotaging yourself in some way. And it's like, it's all about just becoming a little bit more aware of it. Okay, well, let's take Cancer, same stellium with the Venus-Uranus conjunction in the 11th house. We're now putting it in the house that's associated with friends, colleagues, and groups of people, broadly speaking, that you share usually ambitions or desires or goals with. So for Cancers, the need for invention, creativity in groups or among friends, sudden shifts or changes when it comes to community or friends. I could see the need for greater invention or creativity among the groups that you belong to, whether they're professional or personal or religious or academic. I could see interesting collaborations, or also just kind of fun, sparkly energy that's, just like a wave of creativity and enjoyment and pleasure around friends and your social life at the moment. So the next one is going to be Leo. We put Leo on the ascendant, and that's going to highlight the stellium with the Venus conjunction to Uranus in the 10th house, which is the place that is associated with career, profession, and public reputation. Could you be doing something provocative? Could you be, standing out in some way from the crowd? Or could there be some way in which your public image is changing? Or are there creative breakthroughs happening literally in the workplace or to do with your professional/life direction? Venus-Uranus conjunction in that space can, it's very fast. So for a lot of people, it's probably just kind of like a glittery, fun, and slightly rebellious energy that might be coming into the workplace. So that's where I would watch for it if you're a Leo. All right, well, Virgo, we're going to put Virgo on the ascendant, and that places the stellium with the Venus-Uranus conjunction into the 9th house, a place associated with religion, spirituality, beliefs, institutions of higher learning, the law, long journeys, and travel. I wonder about a kind of breakthrough or shift when it comes to the mind-body connection. Could you be changing the way you look at the body or pleasure, or having some kind of philosophical awakening or epiphany, but it is somehow related back to, relationships, love, sexuality? I get the feeling almost of also like a tantric philosophical, the philosophy of tantra or something like that. But I would watch for the overlap between your beliefs, your moral or spiritual compass, the topic of what you're learning or studying, or teachers or mentors, and also this kind of bubbling creative energy that wants to break through barriers and express itself, and can be kind of rebellious, but also may represent a breakthrough in thinking or a change of paradigm or something like that. All right, let's put Libra on the ascendant. If you're a Libra rising, we're looking at this in your 8th house. And to me, this is all about changes that are being made to existing soul contracts. I don't love that phrase. I'm kind of like, but it's a good one insofar as the 8th house really binds us to other people and how have we bound ourselves to other people by virtue of what we need or want that other people have, or vice versa. And so, if that's the case, then a Venus Uranus conjunction comes through and it either unexpectedly introduces some new bond or some form of reciprocation or something like that, or it could make changes to an existing one. I think more likely with Venus Uranus in that house, where Venus Uranus loves to be free, that you would see changes to existing contracts in order to create more freedom. But that's just, my hunch. Love to hear your stories for all my Libras out there, especially because I'm always curious. As certain houses strike me as like, oh, that's an interesting one. Okay, well, how about Scorpio placing the stellium into the 7th house with the Venus-Uranus conjunction in the 7th? This is sort of the quintessential place for Venus-Uranus to show up. This is where you and your partner decide to, introduce some kink into the relationship or fan the spark so that the sexual nature of the relationship is sort of rekindled after a dormant period. Or if you're single, you're having fun. Probably this isn't the best energy in terms of commitment. It has more of the flavor of experimentation, fun, individuality, freedom, love, romance, but with an aura of sort of like an avant-garde, I want it my own way quality. Revolution in relationships. That's the phrase, I guess, that I would use to sum it up. So that's if you're a Scorpio rising. Let's go to Sagittarius. We'll put Sagittarius on the ascendant. That takes the Venus-Uranus conjunction along with the stellium into the 6th house. So here I would look at unexpected disruptions or challenges that are cropping up in relationships or related to our desires. So if you were in a creative project of some kind, I could see this being a moment of needing to shift or change everything, but it may be being stressful or there being some kind of conflict around it. I could see this being a moment where, suddenly there's a conflict in relationship because people have different needs, expectations, or desires. This house was associated with conflict, frustration, difficulties, and hard work. I think about this as a moment of creative breakthrough after a time of frustration. I think about this also as the need for a breakthrough that's happening due to some kind of conflict that you've been having. Maybe this is a way to solve a conflict that you've been having. But that's the mood that I'm picking up on from the 6th house Sagittarius horoscope. All right, let's put Capricorn on the ascendant. Capricorn on the ascendant takes the Venus-Uranus conjunction and the stellium in general into the 5th house, a place that was associated with fun, recreation, joy, pleasure, pleasant, good, and fortunate things, as well as, things like romance and theater and creativity and the arts and pregnancy and things like that. It's a very joyful house where a lot of things that are added unto us to support our sense of happiness and pleasure in life. So with Venus Uranus there, could there be some playful, romantic, creative energy in the air that's truly just like breaking you out of a shell or breaking you out of a funk? Especially as a Capricorn rising, a Saturn-ruled sign, sometimes the relationship with pleasure is complicated. So this to me could serve to really give Capricorns a boost. You've had an eclipse in that house recently too, right? Everyone has had eclipses in Taurus. That goes for all 12 signs. But to me, it's like what is the joy, pleasure, fun, spontaneity that's trying to express itself? That is what I see on the horizon here for Capricorns this weekend. All right, let's move along and put Aquarius on the ascendant. We put Aquarius on the ascendant, and we're looking now, and I'll just kind of take this off the banner off the bottom. Creative breakthroughs around home, family, or living environments. So you can see the stellium is down in the 4th with Venus conjoined. There, it did it. It did it again. The massive circle appeared. Let's go. Here it is there. So Venus, Uranus with Mercury, all in the 4th house, place of home, family, living environment. I buying some piece of unusual art to hang in your living room, kind of the spontaneous, fun, eccentric, trying to loosen or liberate energy literally around how your home looks or feels aesthetically. You could also see, I think, similarly around marriage, home, and family, and sexual tension, or relationships around home and family going through um, important moments of catharsis and breakthrough. Probably fun, maybe a little bit rebellious. Sometimes Venus Uranus shows up when there's the need to break away from someone or something, and kind of say, I'm liberating myself from some element of home, family, living environment that doesn't feel right or that feels toxic. So you could see something like that with Venus Uranus in the fourth. But I think also the idea here of bringing fun, joy, spontaneity, romance, creativity into the home, or and especially if you're married, this can have an impact on marriage as well. The fourth house tends to double up with the seventh to talk about marriage for people who are married. That's just something I've noticed over time, or if you live with someone. So let's see. Finally, Pisces on the ascendant. So with Pisces on the ascendant, we are taking this stellium, putting it into the third house where the Venus-Uranus conjunction is happening. And this is a house that was associated with the mind, with the environment around you, broadly speaking, mentally and emotionally. And so I look at this as a moment of intellectual or mental breakthrough with an emphasis on the need for greater pleasure, to honor what you desire. Obviously there's a line, but the healthy expression of desire, pleasure, beauty, romance, joy, creativity, with a need to break out of old habits or to get out of a funk. And this is something that might, more than anything, might be happening on the level of your mind and how you think and perceive and communicate. I could also see this, introducing maybe some kind of fun, quirky energy around things like siblings, or things happening almost like in your environment. Like, could someone be hosting a really quirky block party or something? I mean, it's kind of, I don't know where that happens, but, you could see something with Venus Uranus in the third house that is like, watch for the Venus Uranus, the sort of, creative, rebellious energy of Venus appearing somewhere in your periphery, like right around you. And look for siblings, friends as well in the third house. Third house was originally associated with kin, people who are like family, or who literally are your family, but typically not your parents. So that's what I've got. I hope that this was useful for you. The purpose of this, again, is just to give you a sense of where that energy is about to manifest as we go into the weekend, specifically so that you can, okay, what's the energy and where is it likely to appear? And what we're going to do to close out the week is we're going to dive into the Venus-Uranus dynamic with more depth and keep turning the jewels, so that you also have more ways of thinking about what Venus-Uranus might present. Because the thing that is maddening about doing horoscopes is you have to be rather narrow in the way that you articulate the archetypes as you go through the 12 whole sign houses. Otherwise, they would take literally forever. So, all right, well, that is what I have for today. Like I said, don't forget to like and subscribe, share your comments in the comment section, find transcripts on the website. Don't forget, the new class starts on Sunday. Not too late to join. I would love to see you there. Email us if you have any questions, info@nightlightastrology.com. Same place you can find the website with all the information about the class. All right. Well, have a great rest of your Thursday, and we will talk to you soon. Bye.